As far as the page designs, the number one rule of thumb is keep the consistency throughout the site. The layout need to be consistent, and also the typographics and the way you use, even the size of the picture need to be consistent, align correct, line good. So consistency can help the predictabilities for the navigation, allow the user to quickly adopt how you design the site and what you need to expect next for locating the information. Most of the time we use the overall top or left navigation bar to find the information. So when you have the information, there is multiple ways you could get to the information. You can use a link, hyperlink within the page and within link to fonts and to the next page, or you can use a drop-down menu from the menu to go to that spot. So you can allow multiple ways. So here is an example of compare two different designs. This is the early designs and being restructured and to use a new design style. So as you can see, the background has been changed from very pinky background, and the pinkier fonts on top of pink, which is not very good contrast. And the logo is in the middle of the content, which the table also showed, and the menu bar, the navigation bar, is on the left bottom. If your screen is not big enough, you may not be able to see that. And things is that this is a senior retired learning center, so the book will be number one things they want to put in. So here is a new design, and sometimes you have to think about wisely use a white space instead of squeezing all the content over to the right. This gives us a space to think, to calm. So it's not a bad thing sometimes using white space to give the audience a break. So each of the pages are going to be able to access from top bar, top graph, navigation bar, and class. This is right here. So the fonts is much easier to read, especially for the senior learning center, and those people may have a reading problem. So you have to consider the audience who is going to be the reader when you design the set. So basic design principles here is a summary. And first one is you're trying to avoid those blanking tags or unnecessary animations in the website. In the old days, in the beginning of the website design, people like to use a 3D button. So that's not really the fashion anymore, and also it's not easy to maintain because each of those are represented with the image. So try to use cascading style sheet to manipulate and control the presentation part, and keep the content clean and neat so the searching can be more efficiently. And doing some research when you start to design the website. First, you got interview with the client. The client might give you some website they like. You also can search some website and talk back to the client and ask them to review the existing site and see what kind of function features they like to keep. So that's kind of shortcut. Sometimes when you describe, you don't have something in front of them, it's not clear. But if you show some similar functions, features, they may say, yes, I want this feature, but I want to change a little bit. Something will happen pretty quickly. And the content needs to be fresh, simple, and neat. That's another topic about user experience. And first, we don't really read the content until we scan, until we selectively reading the content related to our answer. So avoid using too many high tag, because you don't know it really depends on who is your user. Do they have access to the high-speed internet? And if you have some plugin you have to install, that may not be a good idea for the typical user, but that could be just totally fine with those people who have a lot of tech experience. And ensure your page download speed as low as what the maximum tolerance for a user nowadays, probably 2 seconds. Just a few years ago, I still writing 10 seconds, but I don't think I even can wait for 10 seconds. So function element, sometimes people having a scroll bar to showing the names. That may not be necessary. So just don't, because it's fancy and you just put it there. That's not the way you should decide what to be included. You have to make sure every single component need to have a purpose. So the user really don't have time to looking those fancy things unless you are designing site. They are really focused on what they need to do the task they need accomplished. Avoid using too much emphasize, because if you bold things to emphasize paragraph, if you bold everything or italic everything, then it's no different. So there is no emphasize. Too much emphasize equal to no emphasize, really. So as far as videos, audios, you probably don't want them automatic play, because you don't know where the user is at the time so they open your site. Now, if you create a website, you need to make sure it's running on different operating system, Windows, browse different browsers, Chrome, Google Chromes, Firefox, and IE. And you also need to test on the your different device, like your phone size and the bigger screen, smaller screen, all of that. Again, white space is something really helpful sometimes when you design the set or interface. So you can show the contrast more clear rather than squeeze all the content in. The desktop or the browser's real estate is not for you to just squeeze everything there. So this is a simple example of layout for the early example of the learning center. The layout of the top, they will have a logo. And then here is the body, which is main, and the navigation bar and menu, and news maybe, and copyright. So we're going to explain a little bit more when we talk about our project. So set level structure is looks like this for that particular website, Learning Center. From home, they get About Us and galleries, calendar, classes. Have different type of classes, mailing list. Very simple and neat. Accordingly, the file structure need to be doing a very similar thing. I don't want you to have all the images HTML files, cascading style sheet template, everything in one folder. No, you want to make the structure of the site so you can find them later. Okay, so basically you shouldn't have anything else rather than index.html and me in the root folder once you log into the server. And then you have a family site. Okay, family site can be just a separate, right? So right now, family site is a folder, and then projects in Dreamweaver is a folder, and then later adding a project in other software another folder. So I'm going to end with this slideshow, but what I want to do is go into the course here. Oh, sorry. To show what we need to do. Basically, I have some demos for this week. I have a quick review of a couple of students did a good job on the family side, and also tell you what to do for lab 2. Give you some hints, and here is the lecture, and going to put PT there. And then this is a demo of how to apply CSS to the family site. And here is really our coming project, is Xiang-Ti projects. So all the related information is here. I'm going to click that in a second. And then additional tool is here. So during this week homework, I want you guys to complete the family site with cascading style sheet. It's also going to be updated your pages in the virtual desktop and then sent to the server. So you need to upload the content of the family site after you apply the CSS. Don't forget to include the CSS maybe in the folder and drag it to the server. The second thing is creating the page practice example, just like what we did in the lab 2. You're going to practice example from the book from chapter 7 to 14. It's more related to cascading style sheet. You may not be able to finish everything, but just put whatever you got there. Okay. And then study the material for our projects coming next. And then refine the task list. I'll show you where, and then test the interactive prototype and find usability problem with heuristic evaluation. So there is 10 usability heuristic problems here. What I need you to do is identify what the problem is in each of the description of what the interface problem is, and also put a severe level there. Okay, and then you also need to test or whatever, prototype being provided here. I'm going to show you there very quickly. And then reading the materials assignment. Reading assignment is like a list of the project management, research, user research, information architect, part of the usability.gov. I would like you to read that. And posting your journal if you have a journal, and the discussion. Don't forget discussion. And I'm probably going to put a quiz up pretty soon. Okay, the last few seconds I want to show you where the resource of Xiang-Ti website. So what we did is, this is the very first meeting. Before the meeting, we have kickoff questions. We want to ask the client, and then this is the interview of the client. And please go ahead and review them. And then this is the result of logo design. This is from another class. We're going to continue with our class, converting the prototype they made for the project and to the real site.